Hey everybody, this is Chelsea with Let's Talk. Today we're going to review contractions. We've gone over so many of the different forms, so just want to make sure everybody's good with all these different contractions. So remember, we can do contractions between the subject and the first verb, or between that auxiliary verb and the word not. So let's go over all those different tenses. We can contract the subject with to be when it's on its own or when it's an auxiliary verb. Has and have, will, and would. So, with to be in present simple tense, I can say I am bored or just I'm bored. You're bored. He's bored. Oh, that should be black. We also use to be as an auxiliary verb in the present continuous tense. I am jumping, I'm jumping. He's running. So still to be, same contraction, but now it's an auxiliary verb. And with the future simple, I am going to, I'm going to jump. He's going to jump. We're going to jump. All right, has and have. That will be the present perfect tense. I have seen the movie. I've seen the movie. She's seen it. So be careful with he, she, and it with those contractions in the present perfect because they look exactly the same as present simple or present continuous or future simple. So you have to look at the next word to figure out what tense you're in. Past participle, it's present perfect. And a reminder, we can only use has and have as contractions when they're the auxiliary verb in present perfect. We can't contract it when it's the main verb. I have a dog. I don't say I've a dog. Only when it's the auxiliary verb and there's the main verb coming after it. We can contract with will for the future simple tense. I guess the other future simple. I will do it. I'll do it. You'll do it. We'll do it. They'll do it. And finally, with would, when we're making that polite request. We would like, we'd like to go there. She'd like to go there, he'd like to go there, they'd like to go there. All right, so that is all of our subjects plus the auxiliary verb. We do have two more that don't really fit that pattern because they're weird ones. So just don't forget about theirs. There's a cat on my bed. For there is, or let's. Remember, let's means let us. used to make a suggestion. Let's go out to eat. So just remember those ones as well. Now, let's talk all these negative contraction forms. We can contract not, well, I'll put this in first, to be on its own or as an auxiliary verb, or auxiliary verbs, or modals. Remember, modals are auxiliary verbs with the negative word not. And there's a few different ways to do that. So again, let's start with to be in the present simple. So you aren't happy. She isn't happy. We aren't happy. They aren't happy. But remember, we can't do this with I am not. I amn't doesn't work. So with you, he, she, it, we, they, we can contract that to be with the negative form. With present continuous, he isn't flying. They aren't playing. So, same structure as present simple, just for a different tense, and the same for future simple. He isn't going to go to school. Now we also have the past simple form with was and were. We can do that for past simple. They weren't at work. Or also for past continuous. They weren't working. And don't forget, for he, she, it, and I, it'll be was. I wasn't at work. I wasn't working. All right, there's all our to be's in the negative contraction. Let's talk auxiliary verbs and modals. So, auxiliary verbs has, have, do, does, and did. Present perfect. We haven't seen the movie. Simple present. Present simple. We don't live in a house. Or he doesn't work at home. And also for past simple. And also for past simple. She didn't take the test. All right, those are the regular auxiliary verbs. We also have the modal verbs. So, modal verbs can, should, would, and will. Again, we'll learn more modal verbs later, but for now, these are the ones that we have. All right. She can't hear you. I shouldn't drive. We wouldn't like a vacation. And he won't go on a boat. Remember that will not is that strange contraction. Not willn't, but won't. He won't, she won't, I won't, you won't, they won't. All right, so those are all of the to be, the auxiliary verbs, the modals. One last thing I want to mention is our negative short answers. These take the form of the subject plus to be or the auxiliary verb plus not. So we can do this in all the different tenses, the different modal verbs, the different auxiliary verbs we talked about. I'll just show you a few. Have you seen the new movie? No, I haven't. Period. Subject, auxiliary verb, not. And we'll usually contract that. No, I haven't. Are they going to go to Spain? No, they aren't. Will they go to Spain? No, they won't. So that'll work with all the different things we talked about today, okay? All right, that is all for this review of contractions. I'm Chelsea, reminding you it's not nerdy being wordy. In the comments, try to use some of these contractions, all right? Let's talk again soon.